And Steve, I thought yesterday was the win of the year, and the exclamation point was Felix Bautista in that 10th inning.
It seemed like Friday was the win of the year until Saturday topped it. And, I mean, that graphic we just showed, Brett, the Orioles are keeping in incredibly good company. And, you know, Brandon Hyde today, everywhere we go, he's getting questions about, as in the Orioles are just becoming good. And he keeps pointing out they've been good for a long time now.
Yeah, Felix yesterday, he K's the side in the 10th with a tying run on. He strikes out 5 of his 6 outs. It was unbelievable. And only fastballs in that 10th inning.
It was because he threw 25 pitches Friday, and he threw 31 yesterday. And, Brett, the last 6 outs he got came with runners in scoring position. Any bloop, any flare, any hit there scores a run, and he got 6 outs with runners in scoring position. It was devastating pitching. He was elevating the high cheese. He was throwing the split. He got his Adley hug. And Felix Bautista and Cano have done amazing things this weekend. And there's probably very little chance we see either of them today. The Orioles are going to have to sweep the Blue Jays without the big guys at the end of the game, you know, getting their help today, most likely.
And the Orioles did get a good start yesterday, a bounce-back start from Grayson Rodriguez. He really needed one after he got roughed up in the outing before against the Angels. And you look at the strikeout numbers, Steve, for Grayson. The K's have been there for the Orioles rookie right-hander.
They have, and he's teasing us with his talents. And now he's pitched twice in the AL East. He allowed 2 runs to the Rays, and he pitched very well against the Jays yesterday. So Grayson now, that's 5 of his 9 starts, Brett, 2 runs or less. So I think we see why the Orioles are sticking with this kid and why they believe in him. And I had a great interview with Kyle Gibson recently who talked about how he and the clubhouse are so high on Grayson. They're supporting him, they're encouraging him, they're helping him in every way. And Grayson cited that after the game yesterday. One reason he has stayed mentally tough because, Brad, he got hit hard in Kansas City. He got hit hard by the Angels. But now he comes in this game, big game like this, and does this against the Toronto Blue Jays. It's showing you what Grayson can be and what he's turning into in front of our eyes.
And yesterday, against this Blue Jays lineup, that's a really good fastball hitting club. Maybe sometimes Grayson fell behind. It was fastball counts, and he was still blowing it by them. To me, that shows you the caliber of stuff Grayson has.
He was getting some swing and miss in the zone. You know, sometimes pitchers succeed because they chase. They get ahead of hitters, and they finish them off, you know, strike the ball. But Grayson Rodriguez at times yesterday was getting outs in the zone. And that means you have real talent. He's got quality pitches. His velocity actually was a little bit up yesterday. I mean, the guy's coming in averaging, what, 97. So this was a special outing. It wasn't a deep outing. Maybe that's the next frontier for Grayson, right, to get that 6- and 7-inning outing.
So much is made every offseason of the big splashes, and yes, those can be important. But sometimes it's those moves for maybe AAA players or the 25th or 26th guy in your roster. Well, Ryan O'Hearn, this did not get a ton of publicity in the offseason, but all he has done in 13 games this year, he's hit 300. He hit 2 home runs in the last week. He has 11 driven in already. This guy was acquired a couple days after the New Year, Steve. And boy, has he been good with the game-time blast yesterday.
Man, he is connecting big time with the Oriole hitting coaches, both at AAA and Baltimore. And he was sitting on a fastball yesterday, he told us, but he saw a slider early in the count. And when he saw this slider, he was ready for it. He just wanted to center it up, and he did big time. 406. That was a massive home run. They're 3 down. He ties it up. And, Brett, it's so great to have bench players who can thrive in the bench role. Ryan O'Hearn, in signing him, the Orioles added a guy who's made a career of coming up to the big league team, whether it's KC or Baltimore, sitting for a couple days and then being able to get a big hit. That is hard to do. McKenna has learned how to do that at the big league level, be a bench player, and Ryan O'Hearn is good at it. So teams that win a lot, Brett, they have quality players in their lineup. They have quality bench talent, too.
And I'm old enough to remember, Steve, when the Orioles cut Franchi Cordero, that being the worst day in the history of Orioles baseball. I don't know where Franchi is now, but the O'Hearn guy's pretty good. And last year, he actually led the league in pinch hit base hits. So he has that in his toolbox, and in that, he's going to get a lot of at-bats against some of the game's best relievers. And it was yesterday, O'Hearn versus Jordan Romano, one of the game's top closers. And that's who he took deep.
Yes, what a calm at bat. As you said, he was looking, sitting fastball. Romano threw one by him. He saw a slider, and then he saw a second or third slider, and he was ready for it.
All right, I know you've been paying attention on the drama here at the Rogers Center, but it was just a few nights ago, some great drama in Bowie with the Bowie Baysox pitching a no-hitter over Altoona, and some important names in that box score participating in that Baysox no-hitter, Steve.
And how about credit to Sosnera in his first game in the organization, catches a no-hitter with 3 pitchers. I mean, that had to be just a great night for him to debut. And Chase McDermott is a guy they really like, Brett. Right-hander they acquired during the trade for Mancini late last year. Top 30 prospects, got some quality pitches, off to a real good start at Bowie. The Baysox have struggled this year. They do not have a great record. It's been mostly because they've come up short many nights on offense, but their starting pitching and their staff pitching has been pretty good.
So just a few names from the deadline last year: Yennier Cano, Chase McDermott, and Cade Povich, just to name a few. And you can track them and follow them along with Steve Melewski at MASNsports.com. Steve, thank you so much.
You got it, Brett.